All right, the goal of this video is to be quick and straight to the point. But first, I have to be honest. It's still unbelievable to me that MrBeast has still not released a statement. And while the time is going by and he's still not releasing a statement, more and more things continue to come out about MrBeast. It's really getting ridiculous at this point. I really wish that MrBeast would at the very least come out and at least respond to the serious stuff. You know, the stuff about the, you had a you-know-what offender working for him and some of the other stuff involving minors. Everything with the minors, I wish MrBeast would just come out and speak out against it. He still refused to do so. And as long as he continues to do that, I think it's only going to get worse. Let's get to the point here, though. The newest update is Jake the Viking has released a tweet about the so-called Delaware guy who got exposed in yesterday's video that was released by Dogpack 404. So this is what Jake the Viking said. He said, here's the truth. Yes, Delaware is my brother-in-law. Yes, he is a registered you-know-what offender. When he was 21, a 16-year-old girl accused him and others of SA when she was 11. Jesus, 11? Delaware took a plea deal. That's why there was no jail time, but he still had to register. His nickname isn't Delaware because he can't go back to Delaware. He's from Delaware. That was the dumbest thing I've ever heard. He's been back several times. Now, I do want to make it clear that part of his statement was completely unnecessary because at the end of the day, nobody cares. Nobody cares about the fact that your brother-in-law, you guys are stupid for saying that. You just made that up. My brother-in-law wasn't called Delaware because he couldn't go back to Delaware. Okay, but you just admitted that the serious part of that is true, and that is the fact that he is a you-know-what offender. So I don't even know why he put that statement in. The bottom line is, bro, your brother-in-law is a you-know-what offender, and he took the plea deal for it, which we'll get to that in just a second. Let me keep going. He was hired before I was, and was actually the reason I got hired at MrBeast. Before being hired, Delaware sat down with Jimmy and Jimmy's mom and explained to them everything. Okay, so right there, boom. So we now have official confirmation that MrBeast knew that he hired a person that was that is an actual you-know-what offender. I cannot say the word. I'm sorry. If I do, you two will get me. That it's happened to a bunch of other creators. So, according to Jake the Viking, MrBeast knew. So there's no way that even if MrBeast responds, he cannot come out and say, I knew nothing about this. I didn't know that, that the guy was a you-know-what offender. I had no idea. It's not my fault. No. We have undeniable proof that you knew that this guy was a you-know-what offender. You and your mom sat down with him, and after he explained to all of you his little BS story, like, I didn't do it. It wasn't my fault. It's not what you think. You went ahead and hired him. Here's my thing with that. Why would you hire a guy, any company? Why? No company should hire a person who is literally on the you-know-what offender registry. Like, you should not be hiring that person. What you should say is, okay, I understand your story, but I can't hire you. Like, it's that simple. I'm sorry. I can't hire you, bro. You took the plea deal. Like, I can't hire you. Okay, let's just read a little bit more of it. It says here, Delaware was supposed to be a behind-the-scenes manager, but in a couple of videos, he was asked to partake because we needed people. I mean, Jesus, I understand you needed people, but, I mean, you're freaking MrBeast. Like, I would think that a you-know-what offender is the last person I would go to if I needed somebody. Like, can't you just pull up to a random McDonald's and just say, hey, want to make a few $100? I'm sure most of the employees in there would do it. I don't know. Find somebody. Like, what? But yeah, he says he was reluctant, especially in the straight jacket video, because of his charges, and that's why he wore the mask. Oh, we got even more information. So not only did MrBeast know that this was the case, MrBeast intentionally put a mask on him so nobody else will catch on the fact that he is a you-know-what offender. I'm telling you, the story's getting worse and worse. Says here, Delaware's charges are set to be dropped this fall. Delaware has been nothing but a good person, an amazing husband to my sister, and the best father of my two nieces that I could ever ask for. They want no part in this, and I want them to just live their lives away from the limelight. I understand why anybody will be upset, frustrated, blah, blah, blah. I firmly believe he did nothing wrong, and I look forward to the day those charges are dropped. Thank you. Okay, let's go back to the top. So he says, yes, my brother-in-law is a you-know-what offender. When he was 21, a 16-year-old girl accused him and others of SA when she was 11. Delaware took the plea deal. That's why there was no jail time. Okay. I don't know about you guys. And I do want to make it clear, most of you guys know I live in Chicago, so I understand how terrible the criminal justice system is. So I'll just give you guys some insight on how this stuff works. So typically when it comes to a lot of crimes, like in Chicago, a lot of the people get locked up, a lot of the young men who get locked up, it'll typically be for things like gun charges or theft or whatever. It's always like crimes like that, like stealing somebody's car, armed robbery, whatever. It's always stuff like that, right? What normally happens is, because the criminal justice system is so messed up, if you get charged with something, this happens a lot, and you don't have enough money to bail yourself out, you are literally going to sit in jail until the trial. That happens a lot, especially in Chicago. I've seen it. And so what happens is, a lot of these guys, they're like, okay, I could either sit in jail for a year until my trial, and I might lose because I probably did it. Because in most of these cases, I'm just going to be honest with you guys, in most of these cases in Chicago, a lot of these guys did it. That's just the truth. They did it. So when they get offered the plea deal, they're like, okay, I could either sit in jail, then go to trial and lose the trial because I know that I did it, or I could just take the plea deal. So instead of getting 5 or 6 years or whatever they're going to give me, I could take the plea deal. I'll get 8 months. People do that all the time. Or I won't get 8 months. I'll just get this. And so the bottom line is, the reason why I'm bringing this up is because with this guy, and when it comes to a charge like this, getting charged with being a you-know-what offender is in a completely different bracket. That's like one of the worst things you could be. Like being an offender, being a, a R word, any of those things. There's not much worse than that, right? So for me personally, if I ever got charged with such a terrible thing, I would fight it to the end if I know that I didn't do it. I would not take the plea deal. And so I do think that this guy deserves criticism, because I think everybody's kind of wondering, well, why did you take the plea deal? If you're completely innocent and you didn't do it, why did you take the plea deal? And yes, I know that jail is a horrible place. My father was a corrections officer. He worked in Cook County Prison. He worked at the Cook County Jail. So I know how terrible jail is. But I'm telling you right now, I would rather sit in jail and fight than be free and take the plea deal and have to register as a you-know-what offender. Nothing will ever get me to do that. I would much rather, this is just me. I'm just giving you guys my opinion. I would much rather sit in jail than be a registered you-know-what offender. That is the worst thing you could be. That means people literally look up my name and that pops up. No, I could never. So to me personally, okay, fine. I'm not going to say he's guilty because I don't know. But I have some questions about why you took the plea deal if you're 100% innocent, okay? Just have to throw that out there, because it's just unbelievable to me that anybody would even try to defend this guy, kind of like his brother-in-law right here is basically saying, I understand why people will be upset, but I firmly believe he did nothing wrong, and I look forward to the day these charges are dropped. Well, if he did nothing wrong, why'd you take the plea deal? Just want to throw that out there. Okay, let's go to the next part. Next part is MrBeast. Ex-girlfriend Maddie. Some of you guys might remember her. She is speaking out on MrBeast on her Instagram story. We'll get to that in a minute. I just want to make sure everybody knows who Maddie is. So if you were following MrBeast way back in I don't even know what year this was. It was like 2020. Yeah, it was like 4 or 5 years ago. MrBeast had a girlfriend. He actually had a pretty big video where he went way over the top for her. He made this video right here that says, surprising my girlfriend with 100,000 roses for Valentine's Day. That girlfriend is actually the exact same girlfriend, Maddie, who is speaking about him right now. This is the exact same girl. Obviously, they're not together anymore, but I just wanted to point out to you guys that at one point, this guy was so in love with her. He made an entire video giving her 100,000 roses, which, yes, that's ridiculous and over the top. But anyway, this is her Instagram right here. And let's just kind of look at what she said on her IG story. So this is what she said right here. She said, YouTube, you need to reevaluate who you're putting on the trending page. Okay. So she said that. And the next thing she said, let's see if we can just blow this up real quick, make it a little bit bigger. She said, I've spent years in all caps, being quiet, never acknowledging that time in my life, just quietly cheering on those who I saw mistreated. I don't want drama. I don't want anything. I just want to speak up for my 19-year-old self. 19 to 21 are formative years, and as a young woman, it impacted the way I saw myself, the way I interpreted my future, and how I trusted men. There was no user manual. There was no instructions on how to deal with a gaining With gaining a following quickly, no cheat sheet on dating someone famous. I did the best I could, but I was not okay. Months of therapy, so many journal entries, long talks with my mom. Why do I still feel like it was all for nothing? I believe I should be used as a cautionary tale. If something is too good to be true, it probably is. How he treats other women will ultimately be how he treats you. Ooh-wee. You are smart, beautiful, and capable of a career, life, and relationship you are proud of. I do not aim to take anyone down, just simply and explicitly tell you that there are scary people out there. People will hurt you, use you, spit you out, and then tell you it's your fault. It's all of our jobs to protect our friends, our moms, our wives, our sisters, our daughters, ourselves from people like that. If you see something not cool, speak up. Okay, so basically she's hinting that there were some awful things that took place when she was dating MrBeast. She's hinting that she saw some things. She was treated a certain way. She saw other people get treated a certain way, and it really damaged her. Now, I don't know if she's going to elaborate any further than that, but as of right now, all we really have is kind of the context clues that she's giving us in her IG post. Besides that, we really don't know much, but I do think it's very telling because, you know, my whole thing with people is you can always tell who a person really is when you talk to people who they either, you know, were in a relationship with, people who worked with them in the past. Like, it's always very telling, right? And, you know, if you look at the people that MrBeast was affiliated over the years, whether it be his ex-girlfriend, former employees, and things like that, it's beyond obvious that MrBeast is not as great of a guy as you once thought. And I'm going to be honest, I got fooled too, because a few years ago, I thought that MrBeast was a great guy. I'm like, holy cow, this guy's out here building wells and helping people see. And I thought he was a great guy, but it turns out doesn't look like he's that great of a guy as you may think, and it looks like he's definitely got some skeletons in his closet. So, yeah, just wanted to cover this story for you guys. Keep you guys updated on the MrBeast stuff because the rabbit hole goes deeper. It keeps going. The plot thickens. It's never ending. So, yeah. Anyway, that's today's video. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next one.